Hey everyone, welcome back. I got in the new Palmetto PA-10 Lower. Okay, so this is basically a AR gun that shoots 308s. Okay, so let's take a close look at this real quick. Now, initially, I didn't know if I would like this rubberized grip. It doesn't feel bad in the hand. I had actually bought a Magpul grip to replace it, and I'm not gonna rush to do that. I might stay with this for a while because it doesn't feel bad in the hand, you know. So now, one of the things I noticed and other people have commented on, there's a little spring over here, right, that pushes up on the indent to your safety selector. Okay, well, you can kind of see that spring through the grip a little bit, and you can kind of see that it's a little bent. It's a little bent out of shape. Basically, that's normal. I mean, it shouldn't be normal, but it is, right? Lots of people have said in other videos that tiny little spring that pushes on the safety indent, that's going to be visible, and it's going to appear a little bit bent. If I change this out to the Magpul grip, that shouldn't become a problem. Okay, that should look normal after that point. One of the things to pay attention to is you can see out over here, there's a much longer, like this portion over here, I don't know what you call it, is much lower compared to a standard AR-15, right? So that's one of the differences that will stand out. As far as the shelf in here, that looks the same. So I think that's called a low shelf, or is it a high shelf? Whatever length shelf that is, that's kind of at the height of the safety selector. I forget what the shelf height is on that. The reason I'm mentioning it is because I know there's people out there that like to play around with coat hangers, and that's information that they would want to know. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to give you guys a look at that shelf. Interestingly, that they painted it orange. I don't know what the significance of the orange is, but there's some orange paint there. I mean, I've never messed around with like these coat hanger auto sears, but it certainly looks like there's enough room there if somebody wanted to bend a piece of metal that comes around the pin and pushes down on a disconnector, so that when the bolt goes forward, it activates it. I mean, yeah, the space is there. Okay, again, not having played around with that, conceptually, I don't see why that wouldn't work. Like, certainly if you got, let's say, like a registered auto sear, right, that should fit in there, right? Because these, at least the trigger itself is mil spec. So that's the nickel boron, mil spec AR trigger. I did get a 2-stage trigger. I got it because they had it on sale, something like $75. And I do like 2-stage triggers. I actually got 2 of them. I'm going to I have another AR with a 223 Wild, right? I'm going to put it on that one first and see how I like it. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want to just stay with this, the standard trigger that they send, this nickel boron one, and, you know, see how I feel about it. You know, I'll talk about that more in future videos, but I'm not going to rush to change the trigger. Part of the reason is because I want to put this trigger first in another AR that I already have a lot of experience with, and that will allow me to basically kind of review the trigger in isolation on the gun that I'm already familiar. Because if I just throw it into this gun, it's like, okay, how much of it is me liking the trigger versus me liking the gun itself, the way it was shipped. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to rush to change out this trigger. I'm going to leave this the way it is for my initial review. And that's it. I mean, it's got, as far as the stock, Magpul stock, I had seen in some other videos where they had a locking one that had a thing that kind of, so yeah, I didn't get that. I don't know if they cheated me on that, but in fact, I'm going to go back and look at the picture, because I think in the picture that they had posted, this is supposed to have a locking stock with a QD mount on both sides. I think that's what the picture showed. I'm going to go back and take a closer look at that stock, and if that's the case, if that's what the picture showed, I'm going to send them an email and tell them that they cheated me. Okay, I want the locking stock. Although I really like these Magpul stocks a lot, I would like to try that other one just because I want to see how that locking mechanism works. So it's something to keep in mind if you're ordering a PA-10. Pay attention to the stock that they ship it with versus the stock that they're showing you in the picture, and make sure that they don't do a switcheroo on it. Okay. Buffer spring says PA-10 on it. And I can tell it seems pretty stiff. I did order another, because it's supposed to come like, I think with like a 3 ounce or 3.5 ounce buffer weight. I did order a 5.6. Again, I'm not going to rush to put it in. I'm going to shoot it first with this. I'm going to see what the recoil feels like. I'll test out the 5.6 once I learn this gun and I get comfortable with it, and then I'll see if I want to stay with the factory, the one to ship it with, or if I want to go to the 5.6. I ordered the 5.6 from Optics Planet, so if I find that I like the way it shoots with what it came with, I'll just return it. That's a nice thing about getting stuff from Optics Planet. You know, it's just an easy return without any hassle. You don't even have to talk to a person. Speaking of which, if you're ordering any parts, yeah, if you're not getting them from Palmetto, make sure that you get them from someplace where you can return it, because it's like just getting a charging handle, right? A lot of places will say like AR-10 charging handle, but I'm looking at reviews, and then a lot of the charging handles, basically AR-10s are not standardized. So I can tell you guys, like for example, the AR-10 from Ruger, right? The SFAR, that has a much shorter upper receiver. So that charging handle is definitely not going to fit here, and vice versa. So if you're ordering aftermarket parts, right, make sure that they're returnable. Hold on for a second. Okay, I just wanted to turn on the scale. Let me put this on the scale. We already measured the upper the other day. The upper came in at 6 pounds 11 ounces. Let's put the lower on the scale. 2 pounds 6 ounces. Okay, so let me get this tripod back set up. Let me take off the AR-10 lower. Now this is an AR-15 lower. This one's 2 pounds 4 ounces, right? So the AR-15 lower is 2 pounds 4 ounces. The AR-10, the Palmetto PA-10, right, lower is 2 pounds 6 ounces. So there's only a 2 ounce difference here. So all the extra weight is basically in the upper. So I thought that'd be interesting to take a look at. Let me pause this and back you guys up a little bit. Okay, so that was the main point of this video. I wanted to see how much the lower weighed, because I already did an earlier video on the upper. Actually, I'm back to camera just a little bit more. Hold on. All right, so what I want to do now is I'm going to actually put this together for the first time. We're putting this together for the first time on camera. Oh, let me open up the pen. Oh, by the way, as far as on the unboxing, this is the only thing that's in the box. Okay, so they just basically throw this in a Palmetto box that has a cushion in it, and that's it. So there's really no big deal about unboxing. It's completely dry, so probably oil this up just a little bit. So let's put this sucker together. Okay. Okay, so let's put it together. Yeah, there's a little bit of play between the upper and the lower. Not that that makes a big difference, but yeah, there's a little play. You can see here, actually, it's interesting. There might be some coloring from the table, but you can see here how this has the curve versus, let's say, like the Knights Armament, or if you get the PA Saber, that's going to have a slant. This one has the curve. I can see that this curve is, you know, it's a little, these two parts don't match up perfect, and that's not going to make any difference in your accuracy or anything. There's just a little bit of wobble there. Usually I don't get any wobble. Put this down for a second. Put the AR together. Put that together. Yeah, this one's got a little bit of wobble too. No, it's just one of those things that usually if I get an AR, it's like I don't do like, and you know, like basically I do review where I'm actually shooting the thing. This is so new to me where I'm like kind of like savoring this thing. And the other thing is the weight is the big thing, right? I wanted to see how heavy this thing is going to be, and I thought that deserved a video on its own, because if I do, let's say, like I'll mention it again down the road, right, as far as the weight of the upper and lower, but I'm just going to be like running through it pretty quick. Okay, so let's just, now we got the whole complete thing over here. Scale timed off on me. So the whole thing, 9 pounds, 1 ounce. So we got a 9-ounce baby here. There's a big old baby. Let me just back up, make sure that this, yeah, same way. I was just wanting to make sure that the front wasn't touching. So 9 pound, 1 ounce. Let's throw an optic on it. See what this thing weighs with an optic. I just pulled this off of one of my other. I gotta loosen this up a little bit. Hold on, I gotta get a key. I'll pause you guys for a second again. Alright, so I got a Holosun key. Let me loosen this up just a little bit. Now, right now, I'm centering it over the ejection port. I mean, I'm gonna, after the video, I'm gonna take this off, put it back on. I don't know, because normally I center my optic over the ejection port. This receiver is a little bit longer, so I don't know. Yeah, that seems like it's a lot more forward. So I may, so that's an interesting thing. That is something that, let me line this up. Yeah, compared. So yeah, it's going to sit a little bit more forward. So I'm going to have to bring it back. I'm actually kind of curious. I'm going to measure the length of the receiver. It's 9 inches on the PA-20, right? So the AR-10 is 9 inches versus 7 3/4 inches. So yeah, there's a little bit of there's a bit of a difference here. So you got a 9. The receiver is 9 inches long, and the two things that mostly make up that is, number one, the magazine well is going to be longer because you got a bigger magazine for 308s, and also this section over here. It's like, why the? I'm curious, why did they make that longer like that? I don't know, did they have to make it longer to accommodate? Let me open this up again. I'm wondering if they made the receiver longer to accommodate the lower or the upper. Yeah, it has to be, because there's nothing up here, there's nothing extra back here. So I'm guessing that the bolt needed to be longer for whatever reason. So they decided that they needed a longer bolt, and that's the reason why this section here became longer. Because there's no other reason for this thing to be longer other than to accommodate the bolt. And so that's interesting. So, I'm kind of going through this thing. So yeah, so this 9 inches, 9 inches versus 7 inches. So yeah, there's a little bit of difference here. So I'm guessing that the bolt needed to be longer for whatever reason. So this object's going to need to be pulled back a little bit. Now, one of the things that is an option is, you know, first of all, is, let's see, where's this going to go? So here's the thing. The great thing about the AR-10, as I'm seeing, if this is the setup that you're going for, right, you actually have, it seems like we've got room, because I got a room for a backup sight here too. Normally on my AR-15s, if I'm using this optic and I put the magnifier on it, and this is big, this is the 6X, this is the Vortex 6X, I still got room here to put a flip-up sight back there. The only question is, how about eye relief? Yeah, that would actually work pretty good. That does work for me. The only question is, do I want to leave it like this, or do I want to keep this optic that much forward? Obviously, the more forward it goes, the more weight you add. You know, more weight. You're shifting the weight a little bit to the front. I mean, it's not that much weight, but then there's there's the issue of when you come up, what are you used to looking at? So that's just. Do I want to keep it there, or do I want to move it back? I have a feeling I'm going to move it back because I'm not planning to put backup sights on this. In fact, I'm not planning to keep the red dot and the magnifier on this. This is going to get a distance scope, a 5 to 25 by 56. That's not coming for like another 4 weeks, right? So that's back ordered. So in the meantime, I want to keep it like this. Because first of all, I don't want to get, if I'm getting a new scope and I'm putting it on like a new platform and I'm trying to review the two at the same time, it's like, okay, do I like the scope or do I like the gun? So that's why it makes a lot more sense to me. Get this off. It makes a lot more sense for me to shoot this gun and review it with a scope that I'm already familiar with, right? I've had this for several years. This way, when I'm shooting this gun, I'm just thinking about the gun. I'm not thinking really about the scope because I know what the scope does. So I think that's a good way to proceed with this. But yeah, that's going to probably be a lot more comfortable for me if I move it back versus forward. That's not important. By the way, let's weigh this with the optic on it. Okay, so with the optic, we've got 9 pounds, 10 ounces. Okay, so is that a 10-ounce optic? Or 9? I guess so. Yeah, 9 ounces. Okay. Let's get these back on there. Okay, move it back. Obviously, I gotta go through a whole zero price. Actually, I slid it back a little bit. See how I feel about this. Yeah, that's like, just like when I come up, that's where I'm used to seeing it, and that's where I like it. All right, so that's where that's gonna go. Let's go with the magnifier now. This is the Vortex, so it's got like a different key. Oh, loosen it up just one if I can. There we go. Okay. Let me see how I feel about that. I think that's a little too close to my eye. Because now, yeah, I'm going to have to go back to where I had it. Yeah, so I don't have the right, this is too close to my eye. So that's interesting how that changes now because of the different length. So this is going to have to go back up, centered. And then this guy here, okay, before I drop and scratch it, like I've done many times with other guns or optics. Let's see how this feels. I'm gonna have to recenter it. No, yeah, the centering is off a little bit on the magnifier. Anyway, that's not a big deal. But that's a better eye relief where basically the back of the glass is kind of matching up with the charging handle. So that's going to be better. So that's where we're going to be. All right. So anyway, so that's good because that leaves room for flip upside. So like I said, with the magnifier, let's measure it now with the magnifier. Out. With the magnifier, we are at 10 pounds, 5 ounces. Okay, so that's a 6X. That's a Vortex 6X magnifier. So we're at 10 pounds, 5 ounces. All right, so I have here a PMag, 20 round magazine, not 25, 20. Let's measure this. So that's a pound and a half. One pound 5.8. Let's say 1 pound 6 ounces. It's not a pound and a half. It's 1 pound 6 ounces. Shove this in here and see what the whole thing weighs. I'll lock the bolt open. I've got it completely loaded. The charging handle. Yeah, these charging handles that they come with are way too small, right? If you're gonna have a magnifier back here or a scope, it's really hard to get this. I ordered one, I think it was from Timber. I should have read through all the reviews first because I did see in the reviews that it was matching up with some AR-10s, but not others, and somebody said that it didn't match up with the PA-10. I ordered I haven't even received that yet, but so that's just going to go back. I ordered the Warhammer. I saw in the reviews for that people said that the Warhammer did match up with the PA-10. Okay, so that's what this is going to get. It's going to get the Warhammer. These extended charging handles, usually I can get them for like $25 on the AR-15s. On the AR-10, you're about $75 to $100 just on the charging handles, on the ambidextrous charging handles. Okay, so everything's a lot more expensive. So the gun itself, I think the lower was something like $200. The upper was like $500, so it was $700. You know, plus shipping and tax. You know, no shipping, just taxes. So about, let's say $730 versus, let's say $700. So if you compare like if you're buying the uppers and the lowers separate, right, because you pay less money that way because the manufacturer doesn't have to pay a tax. Usually I pay about $500 on the AR-15s versus $700 for this AR-10. That's not a huge difference for the gun, right? But you're paying for it first in weight. There's a lot more weight on this, and then you're paying for it in terms of like all the accessories that you're gonna put on it. Like a charging handle, you know, that ends up being more expensive, right? So any AR-10 specific parts, if you want to get, you're gonna want to get like extra, like a lost and broken parts kit. You're gonna probably want to get some extra, like extra firing pins, extra gas seals, all that stuff's gonna end up costing more. Okay, so obviously the ammunition's more expensive, the magazine's more expensive. Usually I pay $10 for the Lancers. The Lancers, no, normally I pay about $12 for the Lancers, which I love the Lancers, the clear Lancers. The clear Lancers for this are $35. I hadn't received those yet. It's a good thing that when I ordered this from Palmetto, I also ordered one PMag. I don't like the PMags because I prefer clear mags. However, I kind of suspected that if I just ordered all my mags from one place, I would be standing here today with a gun and no magazine to put in the gun. Okay, so you know I'm glad I ordered the PMags from Palmetto. So anyway, let's stick this mag in. Okay, safety's on. I'm not going to shoot it now. Not ready to shoot it. First of all, I haven't zeroed in the scope, so I don't know where the bolts are going to go. I have to move a little bit slower with that. So the whole gun with the optic, with the 6X magnifier, 11 pounds, 11 ounces. Okay, so we got an 11 pound, 11 ounce gun. When we get the magnification scope, the 5 to 25, this is easily going to go over 12 pounds. Okay, probably close to 13 pounds. So this is a heavy gun. That's the other thing as far as expense. Obviously, generally, you're probably not going to stay with a red dot on the gun like this. You're probably going to want a scope with, you know, a more expensive scope. So instead of paying, let's say, $300 for an optic, you're going to spend at least $500 to $700 for an optic. I paid $700 for the one I got, for the one I wanted. So everything about this gun's more expensive. So anyway, right here I've got 11 pounds on this gun, and that's without with the standard trigger. This trigger, like I said, was the one I got here was an extra $75. So if you're going to upgrade your trigger, they come in somewhere between $75 to $100. You know, that's going to up your price by $100. Okay? As far as this specific configuration over here, is there a point to this? Why go with a red dot and the magnifier? Well, in this configuration, I kind of consider this as a battle rifle, right? Or more of that battle rifle roll, traditional battle rifle, versus if you put a scope on it, it starts taking more of a designated marksman / sniper role. Okay, so in this configuration, that's where I see this. You know what? With the extra weight now on the front, with the gun fully attached, I can feel the difference in the grip versus the Magpul ones, which are thicker. Yeah, this is like, now that with a fully loaded magazine, I definitely think I want the Magpul one. That's which is thicker. This now feels thinner. I didn't feel the thinness when it was just the lower by itself, but fully loaded out. Yeah, so that's an extra $30, right? So you're gonna want to upgrade the grip here. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm getting the ambidextrous safety. When you're standing like this, this is great. You know, this is easy to, you know, come up, flip this on, flip this off. When you're in a prone position or in a benched position, right? Sometimes it can be hard to reach that safety with your thumb. So I'm getting the ambidextrous. It was something like I think it was $35. I ordered a few of them actually for other scoped ARs that I have. With the ambidextrous one, you can kind of reach it from both sides, and your thumb, even if your thumb is doing most of the work, your index finger is kind of assisting, so it's helping you flip it over. Now on the right side, I'm getting the shorter one, right? Because if you get the two, because they sell the ones where the safety is the same length on both sides. If you get it with the same length on both sides, what happens is when your finger's in that straight position, and then you flip your safety down, what happens is it hits your index finger, okay? So that's one of the things I've noticed. So if you get the one that's short on one side, it doesn't hit your index finger, and at the same time, you've got that little extra, you know, assist. So if you're in a prone position or in a bench position, you can use this knuckle here to assist your thumb a little bit and flip it, okay? So anyway, like I was saying, in this configuration, this is more of a battle rifle type of setup. And now I'm going to go into this in more detail in another video, but why an AR-10 versus an AR-15, okay? The AR-15 does great. I've been out to like 500 yards, and I get 9-inch groups with an AR-15 using good, you know, match-grade ammunition. I've actually been out to 850 yards and got hits, okay? So I can, with a standard AR-15, not with a red dot, but with I had a 1-to-8, which had a bullet drop compensator on it, out to 800 yards. You know, at the 500 yards, I'll get 9-inch groups, right? 800 yards, I get like, I think I was getting something like 2 out of 10 hits, okay? On the man-sized target, 1 out of 10 hits, 850 yards, which obviously is not, is suppression fire. So with this, I can do suppression fire on a human, right, all the way out to 850 yards, and it's absolutely lethal to 500 yards, okay? At 500 yards, this has the same power, has about 300 foot-pounds of energy. It's basically got the same power as your 9mm, you know, at point-blank range, okay? So the purpose of this, okay, I see this kind of as anti-material, okay? This is what we use to stop the Mad Max Road Warriors, you know, during the apocalypse, okay? So this is something that you would use to stop a convoy of vehicles that are trying to run you down, okay? That's the role that I see for an AR-10, realistic. Now, people might say, hey, why don't you get, you know, a 50 cal is much better suited for that, right? And absolutely, yes, a 50 cal would be much better suited for that. But who the hell has a belt-fed, you know, Madus, okay? And you might say, well, no, well, how about just a Barrett? Okay, great, a $7,000 Barrett, okay? And how much is the ammunition for that? And and even the people that have Barretts, how much ammunition do you have? I talked to a couple of people that actually own Barretts, and they all said that they have about 100 rounds or less. Okay, so with you know, with 7.62 by 5.1 308, I mean, you can buy 1,000 rounds at a time. Okay, so that's why I think this is a more practical anti-material. And you know, go all the way back to World War II, right? They were using 30 cals, right, on trucks, against lightly armored vehicles, against airplanes. Okay, I mean, fine, most of the American fighters had 50 cals, but the Japanese, right, they had 30 cal machine guns, right? And you know, they still managed to shoot, you know, plenty of American planes out of the air. So the 30 cal is, you know, can also fit that anti-material role, right? So just remember that the Japanese were using 30 cals, you know, as anti-material. So anyway, that's the function that I see for something like this. You know, besides the obvious, you know, getting good hits out to 800 yards, and I've seen videos of people out to 1,000 yards, even out to 1,200 yards. Okay, with, you know, match grade ammunition. You know, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on this. One of the things I want to kind of figure out is, because great, yeah, match grade ammunition is really expensive at like $35 a box. I've ordered some, because that's what I have here. That's what this Winchester is. This M118 long range, 175 grain Sierra match cap. Okay, so you know. I think that's boat tail Howell point. Okay, so this is the good stuff here, right? I've ordered a bunch of this stuff for $35. I'm not going to shoot this stuff here. Okay, what I'm going to shoot here is this stuff. Okay, which is what's in that magazine right now, Tula. I used to get this for $10 a box. I got a whole bunch of this. So this is the stuff that I'm going to be using here. I'm going to use this to zero in the gun. I've got some of this German stuff. Whatever that crap is, this is 7.62 by 5.1. So some German stuff. Now between 308 and 7.62 by 5.1, basically, if your gun, this gun says 308 on it, a 308 will shoot 7.62, but not in reverse. If the gun only says 7.62 by 5.1, you're not supposed to shoot 308s. Okay, will it probably shoot it fine? Yes, probably. But that's how that goes. Like 308 is the equivalent of 5.56 shooting 223. Okay, so that's how that works. Now a lot of people will refer to the AR-10s as an AR-308. Okay, that's what a lot of people will refer to it, because again, there's no mil spec on AR-10s. I guess the closest you can get to mil spec is what Knight's Armament is selling, right, for like $6,000, because that's Knight Armament makes the M110, and I believe that Palmetto makes a PA Saber, which is supposed to follow that 110 pattern. Okay, so it's interesting. Even at a Palmetto, so Palmetto sells two of these AR-308s, one to the M110 pattern, and this one over here. This pattern, as far as I've been able to figure out, is this follows the DPS Gen 1. Okay, that's the pattern that this follows, and this is the PA-10 Gen 3. Okay, so it gets really freaking confusing, you know, trying to keep track of this stuff. Okay, because I've been like binge watching videos for the last few days, trying to figure out what's what. And it's like, and I live guns, you know, I do this every day, and it's confusing the shit out of me. And part of the problem is, like, when you go to order parts, one of the things I'm finding out from, again, people doing reviews is, you know, when you go to a company that, let's say, that makes a charging handle, right, for an AR-10, okay, the guy that designs it is not the same guy that markets it, which is not the same guy that packages it. Okay, so you can have, you know, you can have somebody say it's a, you know, LE-308 charging handle, and you get it and it doesn't fit the gun, because again, there's different people making it, different people selling it, different people packaging it. So again, if you're buying, like, you know, aftermarket stuff for AR-10, it's not like specifically from the place where you got the gun, like let's say from Palmetto. Make sure you get it from someplace where it is returnable, like you know, like Optics Planet, you know, someplace that you want someplace that's like easily returnable, right? Like Amazon style, where you just go on there, click return, you print out the label, and you put it in the box and you send it in without having to get on the phone and wait a long time. You don't want to deal with that, right? You want to be able to print it out, you know, get online, get on your phone. I do it on my phone. You know, hit the return button. It emails me the return label. Then I open up a computer. I don't open computers up that often anymore. I open up the computer, print it out, slap it on a box, back it goes. Okay, so that's what you want when you're ordering AR-10 parts, okay, or LR-308 parts, or whatever freak they're calling this thing. So anyway, that's again, this is new to me. Okay, I've got a shit ton of AR-15s. I can sit here and talk to you about hours about this thing, in a probably in a much more organized manner. This is new to me, so I'm kind of muddling my way through it. So, you know, thank you for your patience. So, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon.